Good morning. It is about 4:45 in the morning, and I am working on my shadow work journal. I'm laughing because I had someone comment that, I was like, oh, I'm going to do part 4. He's like, you're going to wind up doing part 44. And I don't think he's wrong. So this one's going to be a short one. But I want to talk about inner child affirmations and gratitude. So in the book on page 57, there is actually a list of inner child affirmations. And the idea behind this exercise is to stand in front of a mirror and say these things to yourself. Interestingly, they always have something that with the brain that says the things that fire together, wire together, which means the more that you say these things, the more that you bring these thoughts together, the more easily they are recalled in your brain. And so, for example, my eye's watering and I don't know why. All right. An affirmation or a positive phrase or statement that can be repeated to yourself on a daily or weekly basis. These are important because it helps to shift the old mindset. So while you're digging out all of the stuff, all of the junk that you're trying to work through, you've got to replace it with something. And so these affirmations are part of it. And I'm going to include those at the end of the video. But for example, there's one of, I am in control of my feelings. I love myself. My energy is limitless. I show myself compassion. A lot of people need that one. They need to show themselves compassion. But there is a whole exercise on that right there. And I will include this page at the end of the video so that way you can see it. And the other one is a gratitude list. And they had, you write down all of the things that you're grateful for. And I have two thoughts on this. In this particular book, they talk about Dr. Rick Hanson suggests that the brain takes the shape of the state of mind that we rest upon. If we rest on doubt, sadness, and irritability, it may bring more anger, anxiety, and depression into our lives. And if we rest upon joy, contentment, and love, we may bring more abundance and peace into our life. And gratitude is a wonderful way to improve your life and create abundance. So basically what he's saying is what I said earlier, things that fire together, wire together. The more that you implement these things and the more that you think about what you're grateful for, the more likely you are to lean toward those positive emotions. And I know sometimes that's hard because we go through seasons where it just feels like nothing's going right. Another thought process that I have, Andrew Huberman on YouTube, love him. He has a podcast and he talked about the scientific studies behind gratitude, and he said that actually writing down something that you're grateful for doesn't trigger your brain to process gratitude and dopamine and all of that kind of stuff as much as writing down a period of time where you remember doing something for somebody else and you can remember that feeling that you had of doing that nice thing for that person. And so it's more about like that, that feeling of, if you do something nice for someone and your heart feels all warm, that's kind of more what Huberman says, the science says, creates that connection in your brain to gratitude. And it also increases your dopamine and all that other nerdy stuff. All the good stuff. But I am going to include the gratitude list activity and the inner child affirmations at the end. I think these are important. Again, we've been talking about healing the inner child. That person's in there. And sometimes it's hard to figure out what to say, how to address, your inner child. I personally love inner child work at this point because, I have a lot of it to do. But I hope you're finding these helpful. The shadow work journals, you can find these. This is the one I have. I bought it on Amazon. You can find them all over the place. But they're really important to dig into, traumas and dramas and things like that, and things that might be hurting you. And my heart for you is to have peace, and my heart for you is to have sound mind. And so I'm just sending you some love today. If you're doing it, in the comments, let me know what you think, what you've been working on. But I will include those 2 pages at the end of this video so you can read those for yourself and see if it's something you would like to do. Bye. Let's go ahead and do a few inner child affirmations together this morning. I'm going to pick about 3. The first one is, I release the feeling of guilt, hurt, and shame. I am protected and I am loved. Setting firm boundaries comes easy to me. My energy is limitless. I deserve happiness.